Everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today, we are going to conduct a topic that is Introduction to Environmental Analysis. Basically, today we are going to discuss about what is this environmental analysis are. Okay, so before starting the lecture, we have to know the basic of this environmental analysis. Basically, this environmental analysis are what? They are the use of examination and statistic method to study the chemical and biological factors, to study the chemical and biological factor which affect, sorry, biological factors which determine the quality of environment. We all know that there is a lots of the factor which affected the quality of the environment. So basically what we have to do, we have to discuss the those different factors which are responsible for determination of the quality of the environment, and that factors, either they are what, either they are the either they are the biological factors or either they are the chemical factors. So we have to discuss in detail. So let's start the lecture. Environment analysis. So environment analysis can be done by three ways. It can be done by the three ways. The first is your assessment of environmental condition. Second one is identify the pollution risk and trends. And the third one is used in environmental protection and decision making. Now, first of all, what we have to do, we have to assess the environmental condition. Environmental condition means that we have to assess the air quality, soil quality, water quality. First of all, we have to examine all these things. Along with it, we have also examined the biological component. Okay, biological component, so that we can easily determine that what is the exact condition of that particular environment. Okay, then after that, we have to identify the contamination and the changes which are harmful for the environment, and also we have to identify the emerging environmental threats. These things are come under the category of the identification of the pollution. Identification of the pollution means that either they are the air pollution, either they are the water pollution, either they are the soil pollution, or either they are the noise pollution. And we can also identify that what is the risk which are associated with that particular type of the pollution, and along with it we can also identify that the trend of that pollution. Then next is your use in environmental protection and decision making. So there are governments, industries, and NGOs which take a data for the policy, regulatory compliance, and mitigation strategies for assessment of all these environmental conditions. So this is about the environmental analysis, which can be done by the three ways. That is your assessment of the environmental conditions, identification of the pollution risk and trend, and used in environmental protection and decision making. Now the next is your importance of environmental analysis. So it can be again this environmental importance of the environmental analysis are categorized into the three main categories. That is your ensure the human and ecosystem health. The first importance of this environmental analysis is that it should ensure that what is the health of the human being and what is the health of the ecosystem. It should be ensured by during the environmental analysis. Next is your support policy and regulation. After ensuring that the health of the human being and ecosystem by the environmental analyst, they during the environment analysis they have to support different policies and regulation and also help the industries so that they can meet the compliance. Now see that in the first point, that is your ensure the human and ecosystem health. Here it is written that monitoring the pollution, prevent the disease and protect the biodiversity. Obviously, when we monitor the pollution means that all type of the pollution, either they are air pollution, either they are water pollution, either they are soil pollution, or either they are noise pollution. When we monitor all these pollution, what we have to do, we prevent the disease, which is very important. When the pollution is prevented, the disease should be prevented. Then then it protect the biodiversity. Next is your support the policy and regulation. Data guides the environmental standard and legislation. When we have different type of the data, then obviously with the help of that data we can guide that what is the environmental standards and what is the legislation related to that standard. Next category is your health industries meet compliance. Companies must monitor the emission discharge so that they can follow the laws and fines. Okay, so companies should monitor their emission, means that the pollution which are created by the companies, they should be monitored and they have to follow the laws and avoid the fine. Obviously, when they follow the laws, then they can avoid the um, fines. Next, scope of the environmental analysis. So let's discuss it. It can be categorized into the four category. This scope of environmental analysis is categorized on the basis of the pollution. On the basis of the pollution. So if it is air pollution, then it come under the category of the air quality monitoring. Next is your water pollution, then noise pollution, and last one is your soil pollution. Now, if we take the example of the first pollution, that is your air pollution, then it come under the category of the air quality monitoring, in which pollutants like particulate matter, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxide, they are tracked. Okay, so they particular matters, nitrogen oxide, nitrate oxide, or nitrogen oxide, so sulfur oxide, they are come under the category of the pollutant. So during the air quality monitoring, we have to track all these particulate matter. Next category is your water quality assessment. In water quality assessment, we have to measure the different type of the component which are harmful for the water, like your chemical, physical, biological, parameters. Chemical parameter means that suppose that we have some chemical and these chemicals are mixed into the water bodies and make them polluted. So in water quality assessment, what we have to do, we have to measure that chemicals. Okay, now in physical chemical, what we have to do, like suppose that some physical things like which can be seen by our naked eye, they can mix into the water bodies. Okay, so we have to measure them. Biological means that either the insects or either the microorganisms, they pollute the water bodies, so they can be measured in during the water quality assessment. Next category is your soil contamination testing. So soil contamination testing can be detected by the detection of the heavy metals, pesticides and other toxins, noise and radiation evolution. It can assess the harmful swarm level, radiation and exposure. So this is about the scope of the environmental analysis. Now come to the next slide. Component of environment. Okay, so component of environment is either they are what? Either they are air, water, soil. They are come under the category of the abiotic component. Component of this environment is classified into the three categories. The one is your abiotic component, then biological component, and the last one is your human made elements. Human made elements. Okay, so if we talk about the first category, that is your abiotic components, so they are what? They are considered of air, water and soil. Next is your biological component, consist of the plants, animals and the microorganisms. And human made elements is consist of the infrastructure, industrial byproducts, urban system which interact with the natural ecosystem. So this is about the component of the environment. Now the next category is your environmental pollutants. Environmental pollut Before starting the environmental pollutant, we have to know that what is this environmental pollutants are. Basically, the environmental pollutant are defined as a substance which are responsible for the environmental pollution. Okay, we all know that pollution are created by any substance. Pollution are created by any substances. Now, what is the substances are? They are known as a pollutant. Okay, which are responsible for the pollution, create the pollution. Okay, so this environmental pollutant can be divided into three categories. That is your chemical, physical, and biological. Chemical pollutant means that the pollution which are caused by the chemical. Chemical pollutant means that the pollution caused by the chemical. Okay, here means that substances which are responsible for the pollutant, they are what? They are the chemical. That is known as a chemical pollutants. Now, example, heavy metals, pesticides, and industrial chemicals. Next category is your physical pollutants. Physical pollutant means that the pollution caused by the physical things. Means that the thing which are seen by our naked eye, that is known as the physical things, and they are responsible for the pollution, okay, which can be feel like noise, heat, radiation, and particulate matter. They cannot be seen by our naked eye, but we can feel it. Noise, we can feel it. Okay. Heat, we can feel it. Radiation, we can feel it. Particulate matter, we can feel it. So they are called a physical pollutants. Next category is your biological pollutants. Biological pollutant means that the pollution caused by the biological things. Pollution caused by the biological things. Either they are insects or either they are microorganisms. In microorganisms, like your pathogenic microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Next is your environmental sources of the environmental pollution. Now, when the pollution is caused, then obviously it can cause by the different sources. So we have to discuss that source. What is the sources? What is the reasons behind that environmental pollution? Now, this environmental pollution either caused by the industrial emission, agriculture activities, urbanization, and transportation. Now, the first thing is your industrial emission. As the name suggested, the pollution which are caused due to the industrial waste. And this waste can anything, okay, like suppose that we have a food industry. Now in food industry, during the production of the food, the wastage are produced, okay, and if that wastage are dumped into the soil or flow into the water or just put it into the air, then obviously it can either cause the soil pollution, either cause the water pollution, or they cause the air pollution. So the emission which are get from the industries, that is known as the industrial emission. Like factories releases the chemicals, smoke, and waste water, and they can create either soil pollution, water pollution, and air pollution. Next category is your agriculture activities. There are different agriculture activities which are done into the agricultural land, and they are responsible for the soil pollution, air pollution, and even the water pollution, like use of the fertilizers, pesticides, runoff, they can contribute into the pollution. Urbanization, which increase the waste, traffic emission, construction dust. Transportation vehicles emit the carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, PM 2.5. PM means that particulate matter, and hydrocarbons. Next, now, next is your air pollution. Now, air pollution is defined as the substance in bracket pollutants which degrade the quality of the air. Now, suppose that carbon, if the concentration of the carbon is increased in the air, carbon is increased in the air, then the quality of the air degraded. That is known as the air pollution, when the quality of the air is degraded due to the presence of the harmful substances. Now, these harmful substances can be present either in the form of the gases, particles, or aerosols, and it can affect the humans, animals, and plant. In human, it causes the respiratory illness. It also damages the crop and ecosystem imbalances due to the air pollution. Common air pollutants. So, common air pollutants are particulate matter, that is PM 2.5 and PM 10. They particulate matters are what? They are the tiny particles which are what? Which penetrate the lungs. And these tiny particles are what? They are very harmful. Why they are harmful? Because this particulate matter carry the harmful gases, due to which the when it penetrates inside the lungs, it damages the lungs. Sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, they get from the combustion. Carbon oxide and ozone, carbon monoxide and ground level ozone, volatile organic compounds, they are released from the paints, solvents, and fuels. Air quality monitoring technique. Now, after that, the quality of the air are monitored by 5 ways. Like, either it can be monitored by the continuous air monitoring system, passive sampling, remote sensing, or air sensor networks. Now, the first one is your continuous air monitoring. Here, a real-time sensor which measure the pollutant present into the air. Now, in continuous air monitoring system, there are simple real-time sensors which is used to measure the pollutant present into the air. Then passive sampling, which collect the pollutants over time without the power. Remote sensing, in remote sensing, there is a satellite present into the space which is used for the detection of the large scale air pollution present into the environment. Air sensor network, multiple sensor across the city for the localized data. Water pollution. Next category. Now, water pollution means that the substance or the pollutants which degraded the quality of the water. Okay, and the substance either chemical or biological or physical substances. Okay, these pollutant either the chemicals are mixed into the water bodies, or some microorganisms which are harmful for the water bodies are mixed into the water bodies, or either some physical things like some contaminated threads, and all these things are mixed into the water bodies and contaminated. Now, water contamination of the water bodies like lakes, rivers, groundwater, it affect the drinking water and ecosystem, which leads to the waterborne disease. Waterborne disease means that the disease which are occur due to the consumption of contaminated water. They are known as a waterborne disease, means that the disease which are borne by the contaminated water. It also harm the aquatic life. Obviously, when the water bodies is polluted, then ultimately it harm the aquatic life which are present into the water bodies. Sources of the water bodies. So sources of the water pollution. Water can be polluted either by the industrial effluents. Industrial effluents means that the waste which get from the industries, they are known as a industrial effluents. Okay, so either like wastewater with the chemicals and heavy metals. Agriculture runoff means that the harmful substances which are present into the agriculture, and during the runoff condition the water bodies are pollutants like fertilizers, pesticides and animal waste, domestic sewage, organic waste, detergent, pharmaceuticals. Water quality parameters. So water quality parameter can be measured by the first one is your pH and turbidity. So it measures the acidity. pH measure the acidity of the water and turbidity measure the cloudness of the water. Next is your dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen means that the presence of the oxygen for the aquatic life or indication of the available oxygen for the aquatic life. Biochemical oxygen demand, that is a BOD, which is defined as a amount of oxygen microbes need to decompose the organic matter. Here it means that the amount of oxygen which are required by the microorganisms so can that they can decompose the organic matter. Suppose that this is a pollution. We have a next category, that is your soil pollution. Soil pollution means that the substances which degraded the quality of soil. When the quality of the soil is degraded, it is called the soil pollution, and the substances which are responsible for the degradation of the quality of the soil is known as a soil pollutant. Degradation of soil quality. When the soil quality is degraded, ultimately the fertility of the soil is lost and contamination occurs. Suppose that this is a land. Now in this land, the farmer grow the wheat. Now due to the use of excessive due to the use of excessive fertilizer, the fertility of soil is lost. Now the soil have no ability to grow the particular type of the product, that is your wheat. That is known as the degradation of the soil quality. It can cause by the chemical and waste disposal like pesticide, industrial sludge and landfill leakage. Soil contaminants. Soil contaminants means that the substance which are responsible for the soil pollution, that is known as a soil contaminants. So heavy metals like your lead, mercury and cadmium, pesticide like residual chemicals from the agriculture, industrial waste like oil, solvent and chemical residues. They are what? They are the soil contaminants. Soil quality parameters can be done by the three ways, either by the presence of the organic matter content, pH level, or nutrient availability. The first category is your organic matter content, which indicate the fertility and microbial activity. That indicate the fertility and microbial activity of the soil. pH level affect the nutrient availability of the soil, and nutrient availability like level of the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium for plant growth. Unwanted or harmful sound which disrupt the human health and wildlife. It measured in decibels. This decibel is the standard unit for the quantification of the noise. Sources of the noise environment: traffic, construction, industrial machinery. Traffic means vehicles on road, machinery and building activities come under the category of the construction, and industrial and machinery means that the factories and equipment operations. Noise monitoring, it can monitor by the sound level meter and continuous noise monitoring system. So sound level meter means that handled or stationary devices. Continuous noise monitoring system track the long-term exposure in urban areas. Environmental sampling, it ensured the representative data or reduce error in analysis. In ensure representative data, accurate reflection of the pollution level, reduces error in analysis, like standardize the method so that it can improve the reliability. Types of the environmental sample. Obviously, this environmental type of the environmental sample are totally depend upon the type of the environmental pollution. Like air samples, water samples, soil sample, or biological sample. Air sample consists of gas or particulate collection. Water sample like surface water, groundwater, or wastewater. Soil sample like topsoil or subsoil. Biological sample like plant, animals, or microbial populations. Sampling method can be categorized into three categories. The first one is your graph sampling, then composite sampling, and the last one is your automated sampling. Now, if we take the first category, that is your graph sampling, it is a single time collection, means that we collect the sample in a single way. Next is your composite samples. This composite sample are combined multiple sample over a time, means that we collect this sample in a multiple time as the time passes. collect the sample in a multiple time as a time passes. Last one is your automated sampling. It is a continuous collection with a machine, means that the samples are collected in a continuous manner, and this can be collected by the machine. Environmental analytical technique. So there are different techniques which are used during the measurement of that environmental technique, like chromatography. Either we use a gas chromatography or HPLC method, spectroscopy like AAS, and UV visual, mass spectrometry. Now the first one is your chromatography, which separate the chemical component present into the environment. Spectroscopy is used for the measurement of the concentration of the pollutant, means that the amount of the pollutant which are present into the environment are measured by that spectroscopy. Mass spectrometry is used for the identification of the chemical composition accurately. Role of the laboratory analysis: quantify the pollutant, means that it determines the exact level of the pollution. Ensure the regulatory compliance, it confirms the adherence to the legal limits. Environmental impact assessment, which are also known as a EIA, it can predict the environmental effect of the project like industry, infrastructure, and agriculture, used for planning and approval, ensure the project meet environmental standards. Step in EIA. The first step is your screening, then scoping, then data collection and report preparation. In screening, there is a determination if a project required EIA or not. The first is the determination of the requirement of the EIA. Then scoping means that the identification of the key issues and boundaries. Then sampling and measurement come under the category of the data collection, and report preparation like documents impact and mitigation strategies. Environmental Management System, EMS, framework for managing the environmental issues, like systematic approach for the organization. ISO 1401 standard, international guidelines for the environmental management system implementation. Regulation and standard, national environmental policies, pollution control act, international guidelines. Now the first category is your national environmental policies, like country specific environmental rule, pollution control act, like legally binding regulation, international guidelines, WHO, UNEP, and other global standards. Sustainable practices: waste reduction, minimize the landfill and industrial waste, recycling and reuse, it convert the waste into the usable material, cleaner production, reduce the pollution at the source. Climate change and environment: greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, CH4 trap the heat. Global warming, it rises the temperature. When the temperature rises, it ultimately affects the weather pattern. Impact on biodiversity, habitat loss, and species extinction. Role of technology in environmental analysis: sensor and dot like real-time monitoring, GIS and remote sensing, spatial analysis of environmental data, AI-based production model, forecast pollution trend and risks. Case study, river water pollution. Source of the contamination like industries, effluents, sewage and agriculture runoff. They are responsible for the pollution which are occur into the river body. Impact on the community like health risk. Obviously, when they drink the contaminated water, due to that, the waterborne disease are occur and they losses their life due to the drinking of that contamination water. Economic losses, monitoring and control measure, it regular the testing, treatment plants, policy enforcement. Case study, air pollution in cities, vehicle emission major contributor to urban air pollution. Industrial zone, factories releases the carbon monoxide, sulfur oxide and particulate matter. Mitigation strategies like emission control, green zone, public transport. Challenges in environmental analysis. Sampling error, high cost of equipments, rapid environmental changes. Sampling error like non-representative or contaminated sample. High cost of equipment like advanced instruments are expensive. And rapid environmental change like continuous monitoring is required. Future trend in environmental monitoring, advanced biosensors, satellite-based analysis, and real-time data processing. Conclusion, environmental analysis is essential for the public health. It protects the human and ecosystem, support the sustainability and policy decision, inform the regulation, mitigation strategies, and sustainable development practices. So this is all about the environmental analysis, introduction of the environmental analysis. I hope you will understand, but if you have any query related to this, you are free to ask me in a comment box, or for a further detail, you can follow the ITLS Academy on different platform, that is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. And subscribe our channel ITLS Academy on YouTube and get our app from Google Play. You can also ask your query to the helpline number that are already mentioned in your slide. That is 7080833450, and visit our website, that is www.itlsacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel.